All right, guys. Are you serious? Are you serious? Welcome to another powerful broadcast. I know what you're thinking. The big lie. Well, I don't know. Maybe it's a series of lies. But one thing I'll say this the job market just came out. I'll just read a little bit of that. The U.S. labor market was softer than many economists assumed over the last year, as the Labor Department said this morning that the number of jobs the economy added in the year ending March 31st was 818,000 jobs less than what was reflected in the monthly reports during that period. And so some of Wall Street's analysts are very upset. It could be as many as 1 million jobs was inflated and between April of 2023 and March of 2024. And that affects how people invest when you have, in the confidence in the stock market. Also might affect how people vote. I don't know. But anyway, let's go ask the genius. Let's ask the man, the myth, the legend. Bob Kudla is joining us right now. Bob, how you doing?
Good. I can't wait to hear him.
So what do you think? I mean, 1 million, let's just say 800 to 1 million jobs overinflated over a year, which is, almost 100,000 jobs a month. Well, when you see a report, it says in the last month we gained 250,000 jobs, when really it's 150,000 jobs. This is a huge difference in the economy and also how people invest in the market, if based on how well they think the economy is going. Am I right on saying that, or at least in the ballpark?
Well, it's even more than that. It's how the Federal Reserve acts with it too. Because remember, they said that they're going to lower interest rates when the unemployment rate goes up. Well, they should have been lowering interest rates for months already.
Yeah, so I mean,
people probably have lost companies and jobs because the Fed was relying on those numbers. Or look, the Fed knows those numbers. Like they have 2,000, PhDs work for them. So they're all in on the deception. Yeah, you didn't know that? They have 2,000 people on staff that just do economic forecasting. Why the heck you need 2,000 people to do something that you and I can do on the back of an envelope is beyond me. But that's what they have, and that's what they do. But let me explain to you.
But wait, 2,000 PhD economists, and they missed this by 1 million jobs. And
they don't do the forecasting. That's the federal government does that. They have their own people. So they should have been able to call bullcrap on it, right? But they don't, because it's all a plan. Let me explain the plan, then let me explain how the employment thing works.
Okay.
Look, the stock market starts to roll over once you start reducing interest rates. Okay. The rich are sitting on treasury yields short term that are paying 5%. All right. So everybody's fat, dumb, and happy that has money. Mm-hmm. But as soon as they start lowering interest rates to help the poor folk, right?
Yeah, right.
The stock market follows it. It's just 100% correlation. You raise interest rates, stock market goes up. You lower interest rates, stock market goes down. It is a thing, all right? And, it's counterintuitive because basically there's a lag between economic activity when you lower and raise interest rates. Okay, so they know once they do that, the stock market's going to roll over. Okay. Well, the big money wasn't ready for that yet. Plus, the Biden administration, the party in power, doesn't want to admit that their policies are failing. So they push this stuff off as far as they possibly can. But this time they got caught, with their knickers down. And you remember, look, the Bureau of Labor Statistics works for the administration. So, but it's more than just a Democrat thing. All these guys in power tend to over-exaggerate these things. So let me explain how it works. I had to explain it to people in my room. Is that when you have the unemployment report, first of all, only measures the amount of people that are unemployed that want to look for work.
That's true.
It doesn't measure people that had given up on work. Doesn't measure people who are retired. Doesn't measure those people at all. It only measured people that indicated in their survey that I'm actively looking for work and I don't have a job. Okay. But it also double counts people that has 2 jobs. Okay, so that's another thing that's a problem. That's why the household survey is more effective measurement of activity than the unemployment report. But the stock market cues off this. I think it's the U6 report or U3, whatever, one of those 2s, I forget. So that's how it works. So what happens though is that there's a a fudge factor that they put in because, the first week of August is when they look at July numbers, right? So you don't have enough time to measure if somebody got hired in July if they didn't do a payroll yet or just did a partial payroll yet. So what they do is they make an assumption that is called the birth death model, that there was X amount of businesses more that were created than were extinguished. And they have a factor in there saying there's an X amount of number of employees that get hired in that environment. Okay. So then they go back and they look back over the year, right, with the actual data and say, oh, okay, well, that birth death model was oversampled. And so now we have to do the revision down. So they give you the big macro thing, and then they go back and revise all the prior months to get it back in line. But this always happens. I think they always revise these things later. Usually the algos don't care, but we're at a point in time where it's the Fed's ready to lower interest rates. That's why the market is so strong now. They're front running that interest rate falling. The dollar fell today because the assumption that the economy is weakening because the job growth isn't as robust. And so certain stocks like that and certain stocks hate that. And so that's what it is. But it also puts a black eye on the administration. They would have their druthers. They would never talk about the revision, but that's where it is. That's why it happened. Yesterday in my podcast, the Trade Genius podcast that we do every day, we said a crime scene. We discovered a crime scene, because it's if it's not one thing, it's another. I mean, the level of deception, that goes with the government statistics is just appalling, and it wouldn't matter except that it matters, to the extent that decisions have to be made based on the numbers that they give you.
So by overinflating the job numbers, the Fed then decided not to lower interest rates because they said we'll do that once we see the job numbers going down, and as long as they don't lower the interest rates, the stock market stays up and people with money are making money. It's Main Street that suffers until that's corrected. Now that the gig's up, now that the genie's out of the bottle, the Fed is going to start lowering. That will affect the stock market to some degree. If Trump comes in, my question is, if Harris gets in power, what does that do? And if Trump gets in, he's all right. He'll certainly lower interest rates to help fuel the economy for Main Street. Am I right?
Yeah, neither one of them can lower interest rates.
It's the Fed.
The Fed has the whole authority there. But Kamala Harris can come in and say, Jerome Powell, I'm firing you, and I'm bringing somebody else in who will listen to them. Trump could do the same thing. They're not important to that environment.
Right.
What's important is the policies that they have control over, and more importantly, the policies that he can enact as an executive or she can act as an executive. That makes a big difference. So Trump, his way of solving this problem is he's going to take it out of international trade, bring the jobs back into the United States. It'll create some wage inflation, but it'll create higher velocity, which create higher tax dollars in. And he thinks that'll buy him the time that he needs to do it. He can do a lot of that stuff without congressional approval. Okay, Kamala Harris will come in. She's taking a different tack. She's going the path of full-on socialism,
taxation,
communism. And what she's going to do, she's going to try to take the profitability out of the companies to give it to the people. Now both of them have their downside, but Kamala Harris's downside is proven to be absolutely disastrous, because what happens in that environment, you simply run into the same supply shocks we did during COVID. So we have recent history to show us what happens when you start to limit supply. And people say, well, she's not limiting supply. She's limiting price. So if you limit price, you limit profitability.
But is
you
that
limit
even
supply, because the demand will be higher than the supply, and you just run out of goods.
Isn't that though
And
illegal? That setting prices is almost
government,
that's communism.
it's illegal for you to set prices, not illegal for the government.
Wow. Well, the last time
Right?
somebody did that, wasn't that Jimmy Carter or somebody?
Yeah, that's why I laughed. I said that's why my analogy is the 1970s, because you got the win button and you got the price thing, you got to wear the sweater, you know, energy's going to go up. But yeah, no, look, there's a lot of ways in which she can do this if she wants, right? So now to get the cap gains higher, she has to get congressional approval, right? But if not, you know, she probably won't get anything enacted legislatively. But there's a lot of, you know, she could simply declare an emergency, okay,
Wow.
national emergency, and enact a lot of policies that way. That's what Trump did during COVID to force manufacturers to do certain things. She could do the same thing, you know, and she has, excuse me, you know, she has the media on her side and the courts are on her side, and you know, she can get away with it for a couple of years before, you know, that stuff winds its way up to the Supreme Court. So she's dangerous in the fact that she can actually cause irreparable harm to the country. Trump's in a different situation because people say you raise tariffs, you go into a depression. Well, that's only if you are a net creditor and only if you are a net exporter. We're neither. So those things are actually beneficial to our country. Is that, you know, Trump won't mind inflation if velocity is there and people are making more money. People won't care as much as they will care about going to the store, and you might get the price you want, but you're not going to get the goods you want. And I think that's really what we're looking at here. So hopefully people aren't so stupid to think that she's going to be able to lower prices. You know, she's not King Canute. In fact, King Canute didn't do that either. He did it just because people said he could, and he walked to the ocean and said, "Go away," you know, basically saying that's folly. And
Right.
she's going to find out it's folly too. I mean, people are coming out. The Washington Post of all places said, you know, don't do communist things if your opponent tells you you're a communist. Basically, what she just did here.
Right.
And some big hedge fund guy just said she's an economic illiterate. You know, I think she's trying to play a game here. She's trying to make the people that are marginally will vote for her excited about it because she's going to lower prices, because the polling data is absolutely atrocious right now.
Right. Okay, let's talk about that. When you say atrocious, are you saying that really Trump is leading in these polls significantly more than we're hearing?
Yeah, and don't mind me 1 second. I'm sorry. Okay.
Okay.
We're good. Yeah. Sorry about that. My wife.
Okay.
To make sure everything's okay. Yeah, I think Trump's leading in the polls, but it really doesn't matter. What all matters is I've been trying to anybody who listened to me is what happens in the Phoenix metro area, the Detroit, the Milwaukee, Philadelphia, and Atlanta. So Trump has to lose by less than what he lost in 2020 in those cities to be able to carry the vote. Now, everybody tells me there was rampant cheating in there. I don't disagree. The problem is you have to still, you know, blow through that. And, you know, those counties that lean Republican in those areas, those people have to not return those ballots until the very end of the day. So the Democrats don't know how many ballots to find. Okay. And so that's really what matters here. But yeah, look, every time she opens her mouth, the polling data puts her down. Okay. I mean, that's why she's not taking any interviews. That's why she isn't. Oh, if you go to the website right now, she has no policies posted. I know, but that's what she's being told to do. Look, Biden didn't even run in 2020 and he won the election.
I know.
So they're going to do this. They're going to do this till it doesn't work. But inflation's different than a recession. Inflation affects everybody. Recession only affects some people. And so it's more insidious. So more people are aware of it. So there's a bigger problem with it. So that's what they're dealing with, you know. So, but you and I, you know, you're in the business of souls, and I'm in the business of keeping money in people's wallets. And we can't control the events. We can only control how people react to the events.
Right. So what do people do then, Bob? What should people do?
No, not at all. I mean, look, you know, unless they shut the stock market down, stock market's going to go down a little. Some by Trump, a lot by her. So there's things that you can own. Pay high dividends, protect your principal for the most part, and you just ride it out without any drama. And that's what we've been doing. So I don't know if the last time we talked, we're talking about these pair trades that we've been putting on where you can go long and short stock, but they're ETFs, they're derivatives of the ETFs. And they're paying dividends of 40 to 60, 80% a year, dividend distributions.
That's unbelievable, really.
And then if you take the long and the short, you're somewhat protecting yourself on the principal side of it. You have to allocate it, and that's where we come in to help people allocate it to the right mix. But that 10% correction we had last month, these pair trades didn't even blink. So, and they paid their dividends. And so that's what we tell people to do. Look, the bond market, unless we have a dollar that's collapsing, then TLT is going to be a great trade. And if you get in there and the bond market is collapsing with the stock market, then gold's going to be the trade. So there's always going to be a trade out there for you, and you can actually short the market with these instruments too.
Do you feel gold?
You can long and short and still get dividends.
Gold's at $2,500 an ounce, which is I think the highest ever. Do you see it inching toward 2,700, 2,800?
Yeah, 2,700 is actually our measured move. So that's the next move for it, 2,700. I didn't look at silver particularly. I looked at gold, but if gold goes up, silver is going to go up. I'm more interested in what the miners do. So, so we have the miners. Look, I like anything that's in an English-speaking country because that you have best rule of law right over property rights. So, I love Hecla. I love Coeur d'Alene mining. I love those kind of plays, and that's gold and that's silver. Wheat and precious metals is a great one to play when interest rates are falling because their cost of financing goes down and they receive their payment in the metals. So it's a twofer.
Wheat.
WPM.
Oh, WPM. Okay, wheat. I gotcha.
Precious metals. Yeah. So that's how we're playing it, and we just keep it simple. And nice thing about doing that with us, you're not tied to your computer all day either. You don't have to be a crazy man. And then Bitcoin looks like it's breaking out now. So there's going to be some plays here that are going to be really, really good. And then you're going to make enough money that you don't have to take undue risk in the market. You can shift your positioning. You can take a little bit more off the table. You can add more cash, go to more dividend-paying stocks. That's all things that we're doing. I've been doing all year this year. I've been inching towards this event all year. So July didn't happen, now September. So that's what you can do about it. And you just can't worry about anything else. Look, probably 95% or 99% of people listening today aren't making over $1 million a year. Right. So anything Kamala Harris says won't affect you, okay? Directly. Indirectly, you're going to get a trickle down effect that will destroy the economy. But in the meantime, you can make enough money and to be able to protect yourself, through this environment.
So, folks, you see the ticker going by there at tradegenius.co/Paul-Begley-bundle. If you'll click on it, it's just right below the video here where we're live, but you can click right on it and it will take you straight there to where you can get access, where Bob has a program where you can actually enter into his program, okay? And he's got several different levels of programming and where you can get the tools and the understanding and the tips and the chat rooms to understand what's going on. And Bob, you encourage people to do this, even if they've never been in the market before. They can learn quickly and can make some good moves, right?
Yeah, and I mean, and if you've been in the stock market professionally managed and you're taking over some for yourself, these trades are very simple and easy to learn. You know me for a long time. I don't oversell these things, but these pair trades are game changers. And so, especially if you're afraid to trade, you set these pair trades up where you manage them once a month. You tweak them here and there. We present the tweaks. If you like our tweaks, you take them, and then you can just sit there and you can be clipping coupons. That's an old person's way of saying that's receiving your cash. Right. And look, last month I had over $220,000 worth of these things, $13,000 in dividends. So
that's amazing. These are
no joke. And so they're really interesting, but you got to do them the right way. You don't want to lean one way or the other too hard. And then, you just go and set those up and just relax.
And just watch them. And in other words, because each one, even if a stock, and these stocks you're talking about, even if their value of that stock drops a little, it's still paying a dividend every month
Yeah,
which
because it had nothing to do with how the company's doing in the terms of the dividend, because it all depends on the volatility of this price action that creates these sold calls and sold put premiums, which they collect. Remember, people don't get rich buying options in the stock market. You get rich selling options in the stock market, and that's what this program does. So they sell against the gamblers out there, and so the more the price action is expanding, price doesn't have to really go anywhere. It can stay in a range and you get paid out really high and low. If it starts trending this way, we bias it more to the longer one. If it goes this way, we bias it more to the shorter one, because the short one pays high dividends too.
Yeah.
And for people listening, I'll tell you what it is so you can Google it. So on the short derivatives like Crash, CRSH, it's called a short strangle trade. Okay, these are nothing new. They've been out there forever. Last year, first time people got it at the retail level as a package. On the long side, it's basically called a virtual call option or a simulated long position, where they go long and short a call at a price, and then they go short a call at a higher price that grabs the premium. And so that's how it works. You can look at those, and what they do is the ETF managers are constantly tweaking those calculations over the course of time, so that they can monetize the monthly dividend payout and minimize the risk to the underlying stock, action of the principal. And it works out really well, and so we bias based on the direction of the underlying. And we're talking companies like Tesla and Disney and Apple, ExxonMobil, MicroStrategy, Coinbase, Baba. These are well-known names, that are out there. And four of them, Tesla and Nvidia and Coinbase, and now the Qs, all have short option positioning too. So you can go long them and short them, and then collect your monthly premium. It's super game changer. If you're older and you want to generate a little bit more income, you certainly could do that. Like ExxonMobil pays 4.3% dividend. ExxonMobil is paying between 15 and 20% annual dividend. Okay.
Wow, that's pretty big.
ExxonMobil is not going out of business anytime soon. So you buy this and you hold it for a number of years, and basically the principal's paid off, and you still own the rental property. That's how I tell people how to think about these. MicroStrategy and Nvidia already paid the people who bought it at the first month it was out. They've already got all their principal back, and they still own it. And so from now on, anything they really provide is just free money. And it's just really interesting, cool stuff. And it's not voodoo. But it is derivatives, and people are saying, what's really the downside? Well, the real downside is if the markets get so quiet that the yields aren't going to be as good as they normally would be. But you're not making any money in the stock market anyway, or the market gets so erratic that it screws up these virtual positionings where they really can't pay out a dividend. So those are the things. But if that happens, your stock portfolio is probably getting blown up anyway too. So that's why you hedge it. So if the short side's getting blown up, the long side's good. If the long side's getting blown up, the short side's good. And so you keep yourself from getting in too much trouble. I love them. I'm doing more and more of them. And in fact, I have my daughter in some now, and then she's moving some more money over into her trading account, and we're going to even more for her so that she's a business person, and it's going to provide her monthly cash flow so that she doesn't have to worry about making bad investment decisions on her business to pay herself. She can just start paying herself out of this, and then just keep growing her business over time.
Right,
so
right.
A lot of great opportunities here. You guys should trade with us. I'm dead serious. We
really should.
We're really good with our percentages. We get people in good trades. If you're an active trader, we have a VIP room where you can talk to us. We just did a trade with MicroStrategy where people made between $1,500 and $6,000 today on option trades.
Wow.
If you're just a regular trader, you're just getting trades from us. There's a trade that we take a lot called SVIX. It's like an ATM machine. It's pulling back now. We're getting ready for the next move higher. So, what you pay for the service, you'll get out of it pretty fast. So
you really do.
And we're really conservative, and Paul and I have been doing this together for over 10 years now. So,
Yep.
I guarantee
And
you,
nothing but
I wouldn't be around here if I'm a fraud, that's for sure.
Well, no, you wouldn't. And the feedback's been tremendous. I mean, we hear from people all the time, send us emails telling us thank you so much for bringing Bob to our lives, to help them understand and to give such good advice. And you get it in that chat room. I know Heidi watches all your videos, and then she says, "Hey, this is awesome right here," and she learns a lot of it. And a lot of people who watch these programs are contacting us. So you just simply go to tradegenius.co, or you can see it there on the ticker right below the video. Just click on the link, let it take you right there to the Paul Begley bundle, find out what Bob's got going, and get involved and not get run over by the insanity. You brought something up too, really important, I think. Oh, Bitcoin. I was gonna ask you about Bitcoin real quick. It's at holding about 59. So since we talked, it did what you said it would do. It would dip down, kind of stabilize in the high 50s, low 60s, and then it's going to make it run sometime maybe in the fall. Do you still feel that is the plan, or do you see that?
Yeah, I mean, actually, it should start sooner than the fall. We're in the window now where we're in the past post halvings when the breakouts happened. So we're in that window now. Some people said it happened a couple of weeks ago. Some people, said it's going to happen in a couple of weeks. Like you said, people say in the fall. But that moved down to 49,000 that got bought back.
Yep.
That was the low in our view. So
okay.
So now you have a line in the sand. If it breaks below 49,000 again, Bob was an idiot. Okay, but we don't think so. And right now, even today, that's why we made so much money on MicroStrategy, because MicroStrategy is tied to Bitcoin because of all the coins they have on their balance sheet. It shot up $11, from the low from yesterday, and so Bitcoin is pushed over 60,000 again, over 2,500, I think, or 2,300 was the move today. It bought back the dip it did yesterday plus. And we think that the line in the sand that we got to watch is 64K. It crosses over that, then we think it has a good shot at all-time highs. And then once it gets there, our view is that we should see a six-figure price on Bitcoin, within the next 4 to 6 months. That's over 100K.
Yeah.
So it's just the fact that we're spending so much money and so much deficit spending is that the price of Bitcoin isn't necessarily going up. It's basically the value of the competing currencies are falling away against it,
making Bitcoin more valuable.
Bitcoin, oil, and gold are really the competitors right now. The other currencies around the world are garbage, but you got to watch the Japanese yen. If they raise interest rates again, the yen goes up, the stock market's going to get hit with a baseball bat. Okay. And so that's one of the things that could change things in a hurry. We don't know when they will do it. It's one of those unknowables. And the other unknowable is obviously the Ezekiel 38 that's setting up, right?
Right.
At what point does Russia, Iran align, with
against
probably
Israel,
Turkey in there, and to go after Israel? And
let me ask you, let's go there. I mean, it's a biblical prophecy that's going to happen. If it takes place, Israel will go after the oil industry, I would think. Iran's oil industry completely, maybe even Russia's or some of Russia's pipelines. So then that means the price of oil would absolutely skyrocket, which would affect everything, right? How do you see that working in the U.S. economy?
So let's assume it's not Ezekiel 38 because God intervenes in an interesting way. So we may have no idea because the coastlines burned too. So there may not be a New York or Washington.
No, I know. Right. Okay.
Let's assume that it's a mini version of it's the prequel. Okay.
Okay.
Is that if Iran attacks Israel, Israel will take out the oil terminals at Carg Island for sure, without a doubt in my mind. And because they did that. That was the messaging that they sent to Iran through Yemen. When Yemen did that thing, they blew up the oil terminals in
Yep.
Yemen,
In Yemen.
just to remind Iran, you're just as vulnerable as they are.
Right.
And so I think that's a possibility. What I'm more concerned about is that Iran doesn't go after Israel directly. They come and do something on our shores, and that's even more insidious. Because look, if they blow up the oil fields, let's assume you're right. Oil will be $200 a barrel here near term until more people get the oil out of the ground. United States, we produce almost all our own oil. So, and I'm sure Saudi Arabia will probably, because they'll be relieved, right? Because they're quietly aligned with Israel and the United States right now. They have no choice. The whole Gulf is. So they'll try to not, go along with the market price, if you will. They'll try to, do certain things. I know that they'll probably declare emergencies here in the United States, but price of oil will go up. That's why I own ExxonMobil. They're primarily U.S. based. All the reserves here. They got kicked out of Russia, prior to the Ukraine war. So we're not prior in conjunction with it. And so it's a good company. Chevron's a good company. Oxy Petroleum's a good company. And those guys will get a lift, if we get any kind of a big move. So, and I think Israel will go for the jugular. If it's a strategic attack against them, they'll just go for the jugular, and take them out. Look, we haven't seen any of Israel's strategic weapons yet. The stuff that they've been using is they're not
the old stuff.
Yeah,
they're hiding.
Show and tell yet.
Yep.
So, and neither are we. There's a lot of toys that are going over there right now, testing things out. Look, Israel wouldn't exist. Obviously God is providing the means and mechanism, but without the United States' help with Iron Dome and with the Patriot system. Now, the Israelis were manifest in that, but it needed the clout and the support of the United States to make it happen, or we'd already have nuclear war over there, right? So Samson option would have been initiated, but that's kind of where we are. And so there's really interesting technology coming out. The lasers are coming out next, so we'll see some of that stuff if everybody decides to just show all their cards.
Does Russia got some stuff too hiding? Are they hiding some of their technology? You're not worried as much.
They don't have the ability. Well, if they had it, they would be destroying Ukraine right now, wouldn't they?
I would think, unless they're still sandbagging because of what the United States. I mean, depends. I sometimes think some of the toys, little testing of the toys, the prototypes are being used in this Ukraine battle by maybe all sides.
For sure, ours are, and that's why the Russians are having such hard times. I mean, the Atacam system, the HIMARS system. Sweden just gave them some incredible technology with artillery. The Germans gave them tanks. We gave them F-16s. We have smart bombs on there, and I'm sure we're helping them strategically. That move going into Russia really threw them for a loop. They didn't expect it.
Yeah, they didn't expect that.
So look, I mean, if I was the premier of Russia, I would have want to have won the war in a heartbeat. Okay.
Yep.
If they think they're going to drain the United States in some sort of war, they're sadly mistaken. Talking heads aside, is that their economy is the size of Texas. It's like me holding a little kid by the head and he's trying to swing at me. He can swing as hard as he can. He's not going to hit me. And that's the problem Russia has. Russia can play rope-a-dope all day long, but at the end of the day, the United States could just print more dollars.
Right. And like you said, Russia's this huge country with not a very big population and the economy the size of Texas. So they're in a lot of disadvantages.
A corrupt society.
Very corrupt, more than our corruption. So tremendously more.
Our corruption, ours is a fine art of corruption. Theirs is rude and crude.
They just throw you in a Siberian prison.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, they let you get rich first before they go after you. In Russia, they don't even let you get rich. So
they just take you out.
Yeah. So we put a fine art on it, but that's the issue.
All right.
So that's the key. Those are the two black swans. So, but 2025 is a recession for sure, guys. Fear not, because there's trades for it. Trust me.
So
we've seen it before.
So even though there's a couple black swans that could, and even though there could be, and we just got the big lie on the report, your point is, okay, now that we know the truth about the job market, know this: interest rates are probably going to start going down. Probably will, because unemployment is definitely going up. And so if that's the case, then depends who's in office can play with whichever knobs they want to play with, if it's Harris or if it's Trump. And I think Trump would do things more in our benefit, more beneficial to a vaster amount of people. Either way, what you're saying, Bob, either way, there's money to be made in the market, because there are tools that you can teach that can help people know which hand to play. And that's why you want to go to Trade Genius, guys. Go there. You can see the link right there on the screen. Click on it. It's just below the video. Click on it today and go there and find out. And let Bob help you get in control of your own destiny. I think that's probably the best thing you do, isn't it?
Yeah, you'll like it. We're all like-minded people here too, so we all kind of see the world the same way to a degree, and it's just fun. You know, me winning doesn't mean you losing. Nice thing about stock trading is we can all win. And so, and like I said, we won't overhype this, but we definitely can help you make better decisions and have better trade experience than what you're doing today. We can say that just looking at our track record.
And thank God that you love the Lord, and you're. That's what I like about you. You're not like an investment banker or that get paid either way, coming and going. Your job is to you help people get on their own feet to make decisions, and you help them along the path. And that's why investing in you for these tools it's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. You're going to make it back easy.
And that's a good point. We don't take your money. We don't touch your money. We don't ask for your crypto. We provide you tools and guidance and our opinions, and then we back it up with accountability with our track record so that you can see it. And it's a lot of fun. Making money is fun.
There you go. Bob, appreciate you coming on today. I mean, I learned a ton, even that word crash, CRSH. I'm like going to go Google that like right away and see what that's all about. So thank you for being a part of this, and we'll talk again next month.
All right, Paul. Thank you, sir.
God bless. There you go, guys. Bob Kudlow over there at Trade Genius. I'm telling you, go to it. Right there's the link. Click on it and go find out all about what Bob's got going for you. He will help you, teach you, and put you in position to where your money can work for you. And that's always a better situation. So God bless all of you. I hope you've enjoyed the broadcast. I will see you again a little bit later. Of course, I'm going to be on with Melvin Whittington over at Getting Ready tonight. And also tonight, I am a special guest. I'm going to be on Ground Zero with Clyde Lewis on his show tonight, which, of course, starts at 11 p.m. Eastern till 1 in the morning. What are they doing to me? I got to get a different job. Okay. God bless you guys. See you, Bob.